I suggest to start slowly wrapping it up. There's a couple of things I just wanted to convey and to basically get some inputs as well from everybody. So I think one of the main reasons for organizing today was also to not only to basically inform everybody, inspire people, exchange ideas, and making also sure that we are understanding what's happening on both sides of the ocean, and great to have seen very interesting contributions, hearing many interesting experiences, seeing some of these statistics. But what we would like to do as well is to take it up to a next level. And I'm just looking for the right slide here, what it is that we are trying to do within this activity, as in the facilities that we do within IIoTSBOM. As I said at the beginning of the day, we're using SBOMs quite restricted, in the sense that we're not focusing specifically on software bill of materials, actually focusing slightly more towards security, but with a sort of a more focus towards industrial and then industrial IoT. And for this, we organized this project that we're basically hosting this seminar on, which is basically working on many different parts. And part of it has to do with the activity like today, inspiring people, making sure that there's exchange of these ideas. We're also working on a series of tools that help both the consumers of SBOMs to better understand what it is and how to start using it. And we're also learning this by the expertise that we're getting from some of you, but also by doing something of a kind ourselves. And so with some companies, we're actually in the process of helping them developing these SBOMs. And what we would like to do, and what we're doing actually at this point in time within the concept of the project, is making sure that there's some first steps being taken, that there is an understanding that, okay, the things exist, there's something which is actually needed. We're hearing that there's going to be some form of a speed up process that needs to happen, likely. There's still a distance between Europe and the US, but still, we would like to get some companies started. And I spoke to some of the companies today as well, who were completely new to SBOMs, but who do recognize that because they are exporting to the US, it's a requirement for them, or who would like to just start the process on becoming better citizens in this case, and seeing, okay, can we start at least with the process and understand what this would entail for us? So that's where we are stepping in and trying to give some support. And the reason why we would do this and why we are doing this is because it's part of the project, in any case, that we help companies in Flanders in creating SBOMs, but also at the same time inform end users that these SBOMs are needed. So one of the next things to do, maybe together with you guys, Lucas, is to reach out to some of the hospitals, actually also here in Flanders. We have some pretty good connections there. And even while we're focusing more on, let's say, the industrial side, a number of companies that we're working with, they are also medical device producers. So there's also a mutual interest there. So it's trying to reach out to some of those hospitals. We have a CISO working group there that we can start pushing this to. One of the challenges that we've been seeing over the last year is that many of the companies here in Europe have difficulties in just understanding how to include it in their procurement process. It was very interesting to hear from Cassie on how she's being approaching this, also to her suppliers, and also how she's getting the requests in, and so with some basic materials to facilitate that immediately. So some experience sharing there would definitely also be useful. And then once we've basically done those first steps, and we're now working with like 6 or 7 companies to basically do those first steps into the development, is also working with some technology companies and trying to help them in getting also up to speed on supporting them. I think one of the interesting things I heard from Conda explaining is that they are looking to integrate SBOMs into the TPRM, so a third-party risk management profiling. And some of companies that we're working with, they are basically doing specifically this. So they are producing technologies and systems for third-party risk management. So understanding how they're considering this, I think it makes lots of sense to also help them in getting that to the next level. So we've seen all of these things. The complexities are definitely there. We heard, I think it was Jan mentioning the P-certs. Yes, you were mentioning the P-certs. So the Bosch P-certs, they're also starting to pop up much more often, and I think this is also one of the ways to start reaching out to companies and getting their product security, cybersecurity teams involved in speeding things up. And your question was also my question to Cassie, highly relevant. Okay, how do you manage it top down? So very interesting to hear. It was an evolutionary process, but still it requires somebody with this level of authority within an organization to actually start pushing this down. One of the challenges that we had in one of the concrete cases on an Industry 4.0 type of platform, reaching out to some of the major European manufacturers, asking them for their SBOMs, and there they say, either we don't have them, we're not producing them, we're not giving them. You can buy basically vulnerability exchange information from one of our customer representatives, and those are some of the biggest OT suppliers in Europe. So there's a bit of a disconnect there, especially if you then hear from Schneider, also a major European manufacturer, that they are producing SBOMs by the minute. So that's also what we would like to try to understand and getting on top of this. So for us, it's really the next step now is to try to get additional companies to understand this, but also that we can help them in identifying basically what their chain of CI/CDs should be when it comes to integrating SBOMs within there. So we would like to understand what that is and how that works, and try to find the best mechanisms to join in there. So that's definitely for us as next things to do. And so when I take this to the very last ones, we have some documentation on this that's available on our website. Also, if we can share the slides from our speakers today, we'll share those through this platform. And this is also the platform where we'll be hosting more of these information materials. And then definitely you can reach out to us on these coordinates, 3 partners that we are, and maybe Dave can address a little bit on what it is that they will be doing as well, still within the activities, and also where some of the other research activities are fitting in, and maybe also you, Miriam, on Flanders Make side. The only thing I still wanted to mention, the reason why there's a banner over there is because we are also involved in another activity that's actually supporting companies like maybe you, Jan, with some, I mean, it's not that big of an amount of money, but it could help in finding the right partners in developing something new. And actually, Ashvin, the company that Rob is working with, they applied for a funding, and they are now part of this program. So I do very much welcome if there's an idea or if there's an interest in working with another company. It requires at least 2 SMEs in Europe to work on this and to find an innovative approach that can actually help improving the security space overall. And then we have some funds available through the European Commission for demonstrators to be built up until 88,000 euros. So could be something of interest. And I'm promoting this because we have a second open call, which will start early next year in January 10th. And so it's basically now the moment to start thinking of potential ideas and concepts in this. So I think that's about it, what I wanted to convey still as part of this.